Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining Reach Laws India Reach webinar. And as you see from this slide, the India Reach is also known as Draft Chemicals Management and Safety Rules. And this session is about upcoming India's chemical regulation, which is also known as CMS rules. I welcome you all. Today, I'll be a presenter, and my name is Gagan Kumar, and I'm looking after REACH and REACH-like regulatory compliances from Indian region. And I'm working in this regulation since 2007 already now. And today I'm happy to share our experience and understanding about India REACH, so you can organize your projects based on this session. And we are also available for any follow-up questions if you have following this webinar. For the purpose of discussion, I'm using only slide mode presentation. Looking at the agenda today, so I will briefly introduce about REACH law in brief, and then I will take you through the India's REACH current status and timelines. It will cover some objective and scope, and I will also help you with understanding about India REACH regulations. So in detail, what are the requirements? And I see from our registration that most of the companies are foreign enterprises, and most likely you are already doing business with India or planning to enter Indian market. So for that, this preparation of India REACH will be quite helpful. And at the end, we are also providing in the appendix, as you see, all kind of data requirements. So you can see in detail what information you need to provide to the authority to seek regulatory compliances with India REACH. I will also discuss the timelines, which is important that where we are at the moment. And then foreign entities, how you can comply with India REACH, and of course the role of authorized representative. Then we will also discuss what kind of fees these are likely to be applicable when you do your regulatory filings under India REACH. And then we will draw some conclusion at the end. We will of course have Q&A session, and please do not worry if you are unable to answer all your questions, as we will focus more on the explaining the requirements in detail. And then of course we will provide a separate Q&A document in case we are unable to answer all the questions during this session. Therefore, please apologize if this session exceeds few minutes from the scheduled time. So about REACH law, so as a company, we started our services with European REACH regulation, and then we expanded it to other countries. As you see from this slide, that more and more countries are adopting REACH or REACH-like regulations. So we are following these changes, and following these changes in the sense that most of the companies are seeking these regulatory challenges. Even if they are not present in these markets, then they need a long-term compliance roadmap for these countries. So therefore, we are specializing in chemical regulatory compliances and sustainability also. So from this session, we are covering India REACH. Of course, we would be happy to help you with other regulatory compliances, whether it's EU REACH or compliances for Turkey, UK REACH, Eurasia. There are several changes, and we are also having some sessions on Eurasia REACH, and then of course other countries' regulatory compliances that we will provide services. So if you do business in any of these countries, we would be happy to support you with the requirements as well as providing a roadmap for handling the compliances. So I'd say 15 years ago, we started our business activities in Finland, which is also a location of European Chemical Agency, ECHA. And then we started expanding our services to other markets. We are now present in 6 countries. And being an old player in this in the market, we only use in-house experts, and they come from different education background, as you see, which is actually demanded by these complex regulations. And it's not just simple filing or registration. Then following your registration activities and maintaining that registration is also very important nowadays, with evaluation picking up in Europe. And this is the area which require changes and further regulatory actions, whether these regulations are really helping industry or to meet their objectives. So we are already in these service sector in the sense that we are already in helping authorities complex projects. So that is where when we start advising our clients, we look into the overall cycle of your product, and then this is how we support our customers. And we speak more than 10 different languages. That is also helpful for customers if they have these challenges to address and appoint any service provider. And we focus in our client business needs and provide solutions that helps them overcoming business hurdles by meeting chemical regulatory compliance requirements as a professional service provider. And our work commitments, like how we provide service to our customers, always exceeds their expectations. And when we provide these services, we always fit in their shoe, that what kind of requirements they have from their customers from these markets. And when we work, we always consider those critical and sensitive relationship of your customers. And of course, these compliances should not lead to any disruption in business, eventually lead to increase in sales, as well as becoming a responsible company by providing and supporting companies in this sector. So that's our also main motto. So, and more information you can always receive from our website. And these are some of our statistics, and it's clear that we are starting from simple regulatory submissions to most complex regulatory filings, which sometimes involves a decision from, let's say, European Commission or any similar government appointed bodies. It's just not the regulator, but then involving other appointed bodies and understanding their mindset, understanding the other issues which require different experience in managing the compliances and doing it successfully, so that it saves your time when you are handling compliances as a company. So this is something we are proud of, and we are expanding our services in other markets. So we are rapidly increasing our product base and regulatory filing experience. So that is also helping us in meeting compliances in other jurisdictions. From this slide, this is you can see that we are present in these markets, and we have established our own subsidiaries. So these are not partnerships or any other company, but these are our own subsidiaries, so that our clients can have a seamless extension when they're looking at regulatory compliances in other markets. So we would be happy to extend services with the similar requirements and quality in these sectors. So this is something, and we are expanding. So more and more presence you will see in future that supports our customers' chemical business and compliances. Coming to India Reach, of course, we are providing some services already now with the preparatory work and scoping work. But then once this regulation comes in force, we will use our own subsidiary to provide a setup service, which means that we will be offering similar service like only representative of Europe. It's like authorized representative services for India Reach, and that is especially for the foreign entities who do not have their presence in Indian market. So that is our main service for such companies. And in addition to that, we also provide standard services. Even if you would like to utilize your infrastructure in India, then we would be happy to support that subsidiary of yours as authorized representative, and we can support you with all regulatory filings and management of those filings. So India Reach, we have full suite of services, and including related to chemicals. We are also providing BIS license service, and we have a separate session on Thursday this week on BIS license. So, and this is also available open for registration at our website. So if you would like to register, you can also register for Thursday event. And this is separate from today's session, so requirements are completely different. So I suggest that if you are interested, please register for this event also. And then we, of course, for local companies, we have all kind of education and training services, which will guide small and medium-sized enterprises to overcome these regulatory compliance work. And this is something we would be offering as service provider. So as ReachLaw, we have one of the foremost only representative service provider. We are already offering these services to a large number of non-EU companies, and in fact, non-Indian companies. If you probably would like to do business, then we'll be happy to provide similar services to Indian under India Reach. And please follow our YouTube channel. We have couple of videos, talks about regulatory changes, and we are also updating some of the videos, and there are talks from the authority as well, so you can hear that what kind of developments they are sharing and what plans they are sharing as an authority. So feel free to scan through this channel, and if you like these videos, then of course share with your other groups. So this is something we will continue to offer. And coming now to India Reach, I would like to explain you with this slide that what we have are already available from the authority is the 5th draft of draft chemicals and management rules, which we are saying as India Reach in this presentation. And this is the document which is used to explain you the requirements in this session. And India Reach is primarily based on EU Reach. The fact is that it lays optimum emphasis on data, so they require companies to provide data to the authority, and this is same as no data no market, and it of course has 1 ton as a threshold. So when it comes to the data, we have 2 regulatory tools. We will discuss it more. One is notification, then registration. A notification is the main regulatory requirement under India Reach, whereas registration is only for priority, or if you understand, HVAC type chemicals. So it's not for all chemicals which are notified will go for registration. So let's see in the next slides how it works. And then, of course, there are further regulatory program and process which will define further regulatory actions on these submissions with the authority, starting with evaluation, restriction, authorization, and we also have we are not UNGHS. India is not signatory, but we have UNGHS version 8 requirements covered in this draft regulation. And Currently, India has only control of hazardous chemicals, and this India Reach will cover this chemical hazardous chemicals compliances as is. So once this regulation comes in force, the existing rule of hazardous chemicals will cease to exist and it will be replaced by India Reach, and same requirements are there in India Reach, so there is no change. Of course, there are some additional requirements that and it is mainly for local manufacturers in India, not for you if you do not have any factory or sites in India. Then these requirements are mainly for local manufacturing companies. And important to understand on timelines. So we are expecting that the legal text of the finalized legal text of India Reach will be notified at WTO in 2021, which means that the countries can make comments to these rules, and the process says that the planning is that it will then be coming as under Indian Gadget by 2022. So this is what we are following, I, and of course we will be updating through our news if there are any changes to timeline. These are critical for your planning, as we understand. Going further, this is the typical structure of India Reach. There are 6 chapters, and each chapter has different requirements and information. So in this session, we will cover, of course, chapter 1, chapter 2, certain understanding about the authority structure, and then chapter 3, which will talk about the requirements. So we will, of course, cover the important requirements in this session. And there are schedules, as you see, from 11 to, and then the other schedules starting from 1. So some of the schedules or templates we are providing at the end of the presentation under appendices. These are some of the definitions. The important ones, of course, are existing substance, and these will be used. I'll be using this in this presentation. So existing substance, you need to understand that this is if you're already doing business with Indian market, and you're already exporting chemicals which are, let's say, above 1,000 kilos a year, then you qualify for certain requirements or let's say filings, and this is the initial notification period. I will explain you about this initial notification period using next slide. But if you are already in business, then you qualify and your product qualify as existing substance. Substance definition is same what you have from the European REACH regulation. So this is the substance. And new substance means any substance which you do not notify, or you don't do any regulatory filing during this initial notification period, then those will qualify as new substance. So these are some of the definitions. I will not go into much details, but these we are using also in and explaining them further in the slides. So priority substance is like a substance which meet these kind of definitions. So whether it's CMR, it has STOT or PBT, and any substance which is listed in Schedule 2. Schedule 2 is a standalone document in the India Reach, which has around 750 chemicals by their chemical name and cache numbers. So if you would like to receive the list of, and this is the chemicals which would go for registration, we will see also later. So if you need any requirements on these substances, we would be happy to share this information by email to the interested companies. So substances will only go for regulatory filings. It will not be mixtures, it will not be articles, but only substances will go for regulatory filings in the database. So then we have same substance definition also introduced in this 5th draft, which will take into consideration of different type of substances, looking into their whether it's mono-constituent, as you have known these terms, multi-constituents or UVCVs. So these are now covered in the fifth draft of India REACH. And it is also used for making joint submission and planning of joint submission. Now, coming to the understanding the authority setup, how the authorities will function, and of course there will be some controlling authorities which are defining changes to India REACH, not so frequently, but of course they are the responsible authorities. So National Chemical Authority is defined, and they will consist of four kind of, let's say, they have a duties and power to make changes and understand in the simple terms. Then you have a steering committee, which is having 17 members, and steering committee shall oversee technical and administrative matters arising out of these rules. And they will also make and publish annual report, and they will oversee the activities of division. We will see that Chemical Regulatory Division number 4 from this slide, and this is having a similar role as ECHA of European REACH implementing body. And then we have Scientific Committee and Risk Assessment Committee. These are responsible for functioning of the and meeting the requirements. And on your right hand side, if you see that the requirements are defined, notification, registration, and priority substances, confidentiality appeal. And so Chemical Regulatory Division is common, so it plays a bigger role in handling the submissions, and it's the first contact point of registrants and notifiers. So you will be contacting them and submitting your documents to this authority under India REACH. And these are basically the members corresponds to certain existing bodies in India. I will not go into the details, but these are defined members, and this is how Indian regulatory framework is defined, and they have a set of existing several members which are responsible for chemicals and can contribute to this regulatory working. These are the members. So, and they have a fixed tenure to provide these render their services under this requirement. Understanding PESO more. So as I said, PESO will be like a division, and they will be taking role similar to ECHA. And Petroleum and Explosive Safety Organization is how PESO is known as, and it's an existing body in India. And if you see from their logo that they already provide manuals and rules and instructions of all these kind of regulations in India, and they will be having additional responsibility of India REACH, and they will coordinate among these committee members, and they have their own division. So they have different units. There are 8 units are there, and priority substance unit is the important division and the unit of which will of course have a lot of impact on your notification filings and evaluation, which we will see later. Then they are also responsible for enforcement. As you see that in addition to implementing India REACH, they are also responsible for enforcement. And division will have a digital portal. They will disseminate information to general public, let's say about information related to notified or registered substances, and classification, any information regarding deadlines, any guidance documents, and so all support documents and information will be provided, including templates. And once it is coming in force, more and more information will be shared. And of course, it's an English language, so you can very well follow these changes. And we have a digital IT platform, means that all under India REACH, there will be digital submissions of your regulatory filings, as more and more countries promoting toward digitalization. for ease of business. So there is likely that there are a lot of activities under India Reach will undergo digital submissions. Coming to the scope and exemption. So for scope, I would say that all the substances which are more than 1 ton will qualify. And if you are in business with India, then this is what you have to consider. And if you export mixtures, then you have to consider substances in those mixtures. And objective is same like EU REACH. They have a high level protection of human health and environment. And this is the reason that they are maintaining more information on regulatory filings to see that the objectives. And then there are other requirements which we will see that how India Reach will help in creating a circular economy also in India. Requirements linked to the notification, registration, and these we will see in the next slides. And of course, hazardous chemicals, which are safety and handling and imports, as well as preparedness on chemical accidents related to the hazardous chemicals. So this is how the scopes and objectives are defined. And this is the slide we are using to explain more about how the India Reach and important regulatory tools are defined. So notification remains the main regulatory let's say submission that authorities are demanding from entities, those who are doing business or plan to do business with India. And about existing and new substances that we have learned before. So if you are existing and if you are new substances, and all chemicals which are above 1 ton will undergo notification process. And on timelines, to understand that you have to submit notification during initial notification period. And explaining and understanding initial notification period is that let's say India Reach regulation comes in force on 1st of January 2022. Then initial notification period will start 1 year after the regulation coming into force. That is starting from 1st of January 2023, the notification period will start, this initial notification period, and it will last for 180 days. So therefore it will end on 30th of June 2023. So if I say that industry will have 1.5 years to prepare for this notification, and this is only for existing chemical, which denotes by E. And if you're new substance, then you have to do it before placing on the market at least 60 days in advance. And of course, we will see more that what is the requirements under notification. And you need to make annual reporting also. And the fees are applicable to notification. It is not like pre-registration or a normal notification. You will see it. And it is the main depository for authorities to further implement the compliances, and it will undergo screening process. Means the notification will be going under evaluation. We will see also how this is working. And then only the substances which are, let's say, currently in the Schedule 2, which I mentioned initially as 750 chemicals, these are the priority substances, and only the Schedule 2 will undergo registration. So which means that if you have chemicals which are already there in this 750 list, then you also need to apply for registration. And registration will say that 1.5 years of substances coming into the Schedule 2, you have to complete your registration. And we will also see how the requirements are there, but it's more or less same like EU Reach when it comes to the data dossier preparation. And so the this is how we are covering the both notification and registration for priority substances. And then hazardous chemicals, which I'm not covering in this presentation, but this is mainly for the local manufacturers, and these are some of the requirements which if you use hazardous chemicals under certain threshold, then you have to complete these requirements. And there are time to time enforcements, and there are different enforcement body under India REACH which will implement as well as enforce the compliance of these hazardous chemicals. So now looking at exemptions, the exemptions are similar to other regulatory or other jurisdictions. So it's radioactive substances, and we have waste, and we have defined under our own hazardous waste management rules. So those wastes are exempted. And then we have similar like defense and re-export. If you are not entering India with your chemical and only for re-export, then those chemicals do not require India REACH requirements. And food and feed, if you have exclusive use, then of course it is exempted. But if you have other uses, industrial uses, then those quantities are not exempted. Then we have exemption based on certain listing of cache number as well as criteria based. So these are like clubbed. Unlike European REACH, you have Annex 4 and Annex 5, but these are both cache number and criteria based exemption that you need to consider. Now coming to the preparation of India REACH. So I will explain you using this slide that excuse me, that the India REACH requirements for notification, and notification dossier is according to Schedule 5, and it has a lot of information that you need to provide. So it carries details of notifiers, and in the appendix you can see what details are under notifier, or what are the details required under main constituent, and so on. So you can see the appendix for more information. But these are like the typical notification dossier, which will cover your product details, your identification, like spectral data is required to submit at the time of notification to define your substance identity and support your substance identity. You need a spectral data. Then hazardous classification according to UNGHS version 8, and all uses you have to report. Then what are your downstream users, and then this notification dossier is based on the each quantity you have to pay the fees to the authority. We will see the fees in the fees slide. And for each quantity, depending upon how much you export or how much India imports, you need to consider your fees and regulatory dossier. The content will remain same for all tonnage band. It will not change based on the quantity of your imports or exports, but the content of will remain same. Only you have to report the quantities in this dossier differently and pay different fees. Who are the notifiers we will see, but Indian manufacturers, Indian importers, and authorized representative, which we will see later on, can do this, and we call them as notifiers. And authorized representative, of course, can work for foreign traders as well as foreign manufacturers, both. In addition to notification, the notification dossier will also require you to add your safety data sheet. So this is the requirement we are also providing, that is covered in Schedule 9. We are sharing this also in the appendix. So you have to include safety data sheet in your notification dossier. And once you submit the notification dossier, it will go for normal check by the authority. And of course, there are provisions that you can provide some information later on. But important point for you to understand is that you will be assigned a number, and you will be paying, when you pay the fee, you will be assigned a number, and you can place your substances based on your certificates. And if it is authorized representative, then certificate of authorized representative will be that number for each substance. And then you have to make an annual update. This is a mandatory requirement by 31st of March or 29th of February, considering leap year. And if you update and you increase your volumes and business in India, then you have to again pay the fee for the additional quantity differential amount to maintain your notification, and that's it. This is how the notification will continue. And if you do not have any priority substances, then this is the only regulatory filings you need under India Reach, of course, safety data sheet, and then you have to maintain this up to date. Every time you do business, you consider that if you have any update, even it's existing customer or new customer. So keep it up to date, and of course that you will cover in the annual filing. And the important point is that all notified substances will undergo evaluation. Uh, and these are like further regulatory, whether it will qualify for further regulatory program or not. It will undergo an evaluation by priority substance unit of division, that what we see earlier. And they will require either included or deleted from Schedule 2. And they will also check with division and notifier. So you will also be contacted for availability of any data regarding the substance, that to find out whether it falls under the definition of priority substance or not. So you will support, and authority will check from you this data. And for you also to understand that all data submitted by you to any foreign regulator, like it's Reach, European Chemical Agency, or in Turkey it's more than in other like foreign regulator in any other jurisdiction, for the purpose of registration. Those data, and if it's the same substance, you can provide to the authority as an evidence that this substance do not qualify or meet the definition of priority substance. So if not, then they will close the evaluation with the order, and no further regulatory action will be uh, there. But of course, they can pick up this depending upon some market surveillance and other information later on. But then if it is there, then they will list this as a priority substance, and it will go for registration after 1.5 years of inclusion into the list. So this is important that uh, the and SDS, there are certain developments in 2021 that Indian Government Chemical Ministry Department has set up a task force to work with domestic and global stakeholders to determine which of the GHS building blocks make the most sense for India. And this is already in discussion. And the task force includes government official, trade associations like ICC and academia. So this is already in discussion for some of you who are following the developments closely. And this is the information on registration. So registration, I would say it's a same requirement as for EU Reach, and it's a technical dossier. The requirements are same. And we are also providing more detail, what covers registrant details, what is included in the chemical identifier, and chemical structure details, and so on. The identified uses will cover the waste reporting, like you are following the SCIP database. India is also working on the waste framework to see that India Reach is supplementing this. So there are more changes that what in addition to existing uses, you have to report other uses which will help in circular economy action plan working going on in the India market. And registration, this information on robust study summaries is currently in the regulation. It is not defined, so means that the tonnage band requirements, data requirements are not defined at the moment. So but these are required under the technical dossier. So you have once you do make a submission of your dossier, of course it will include, if you have more than 10 tons, like CSR, and also includes CSR as PBT and BPVP assessment. And India Reach defines schedules how this criteria is established. And intermediates are also covered. There are reduced requirements if you are below 1,000 tons, but if you are above 1,000 tons, then it's same as full what you apply for a full submission. The same set of registrants are same as notifier. and the registration will also cover less than 1,000, like less than 1 ton per annum, and this list will be updated by authority at the portal. This is currently not available. Also, data is not available. What is required? So again, for you to understand the evaluation will also be there in this process, and there are two types of evaluation. One is right after your submission of dossier. If there are any changes, you can report in 60 days, and if after 1 year, authority will check your dossier, so they will see that if there are any gaps, and you will get let's say up to 7 months, which is like extended period to provide the incomplete information. Otherwise, you will receive a suspension order of your registration, and then you cannot place your product into Indian market. If you fulfill this suspension order based on the requirements, you can again regain your access to Indian market. Now, dossier evaluation, basically, this is the first, and the second is your after this completion, the authority will undergo, and they will undergo the further regulatory changes like evaluation and restriction. And this is where that you will see that we are applying risk-based planning. So for evaluation restriction process, either chemicals will be restricted and or prohibited, like ban, complete ban will be there, or it will be listed as hazardous chemicals. And then if it is restricted, there is a separate list, and you can apply for authorization of use for those restricted substances, and maximum up to 8 years. By that time, you need to find alternative to continue business with India. And for testing, uh, the because you need to provide the test data for this registration. If you are qualifying for registration, then it is mentioned that the testing requirements will only apply to registration, and they shall comply with OECD test guidelines for chemicals. In the OECD, you will see the test guidelines for chemicals, and these guidelines are different. Let's say options, if you have for testing, you can of course propose to the division, and they will accept or provide certain suggestions that you can conduct. And the test will only be carried out in NABL. This is a like local accredited body which defines the status of laboratories in India, or GLP certified laboratories. Also, it is saying that you need to avoid repeat testing, so which means that existing jurisdiction like EU REACH, or you can use your existing data. And it is also that prior to doing any testing, you should consider that data for your registration and propose any testing strategy if you do not have any data. So animal testing is a last resort here also. And uh, while making the submissions to the authority, it is that mandatory that you can go for joint submission, but it's not mandatory to apply for joint submission like one substance, one registration under EU REACH. If you have access to the data, or you have rights to use the data, have ownership rights, then you can directly register. So it is allowed, and it is much quicker to obtain the registration number and gain the market access. So this is how I see that registration will continue. And then explaining about the foreign entities, of course, I covered this previously, but foreign entities, it is defined that foreign entities include foreign manufacturers as well as foreign traders. And this is the main differentiator from EU REACH, that foreign traders can also appoint authorized representative. So both foreign manufacturers as well as foreign traders can appoint authorized representative to meet regulatory requirements under India REACH. And these are like notification, registration, authorization, and if you also want to consider confidentiality provisions to hide certain data as information will be disseminated. So all these requirements, you can use authorized representative, and there are certain criteria for authorized representative, like it can be an Indian national or an entity registered in India, but it should have a sufficient background in practical handling of substances. Also, authorized representative shall be liable for discharge of all obligation under these rules. So they are responsible that whatever is happening, that they should take all the obligations and liability arising while handling the India REACH compliances. And therefore, you must look for a professional authorized representative for meeting your requirements. And it's a long-term association, so do consider these. And then Indian manufacturers and Indian importers they have a direct implication because they're based in India. So they need to also apply for these requirements. And in addition to this, they also need to also consider hazardous chemical compliances, which I'm not explaining this in this presentation. So this is about foreign entities. And then coming to the fees. The fees we are providing in Indian rupees, and it is only for large enterprises. There is a provision that if you are a small or medium or micro enterprise, we have a standard criteria and local regulation defining the size of the company or enterprise, and that is how it is used also for India Reach. It is for all entire enterprises available in India. And if you're a large enterprise, then in euros we are providing the fees. So notification, as I mentioned, it's per substance, per legal entity, and this is the tonnage band that you need to consider for uh, means your when you submit, you have to pay this fees to the authority, and then after successful payments, you will receive your, and of course, check of your dossiers, you will receive the notification number. And similarly, registration, they have different tonnage bands. And joint submission, also there are some reduced fees, but as I mentioned, it's not mandatory under India Reach. Then if you update your tonnage band for notification, you have to pay differential of fees, as it is clear from this slide. So this is currently the fees which are provided in the draft regulation. Now I will draw certain conclusions. So before I do that, there is a comparison slide for your reference, that how it varies with the EU Reach and Korea Reach. So for example, the P-registration process is not there in India Reach, and it doesn't exist. We only have notification. It's a main requirement for India Reach, and that is the main will act as a main depository of information for authorities to plan for the regulatory actions on chemicals. And also we need information quickly, so that is when notification was adopted. We do not have time to have a scattered deadlines like other countries, since we are late in implementing the SAICM as a signatory. So this is some of the changes that we need to consider. And registration is only for certain set of chemicals which are priority substances, and schedule 2 will define this list, and it is a dynamic list. So right now it has 750 chemicals, and let's say after notification period, and as time passes by, this list will continue to grow. Like HVSC is growing every year, there are inclusions every year. So likewise, priority substance will be dynamic list, so you need to consider this watch and see that whether you have any registration requirements. Once it is on the list, you have 1.5 years to complete your registration in addition to notification. Polymer registration is not covered. Polymers are not defined at the moment, but let's see, we are drawing some comments on the conclusion. And data requirements, as I mentioned, that it's not defined. It's the same principle, but it's not defined per tonnage band. We have hazardous chemical compliances included in the India Reach, so it's not separate, but it's a separate altogether chapter in India Reach regulation. And we have OR concept also to help foreign entities to meet the compliances, but it comes with the criteria, and criteria is reduced in the final version, which will be notified at WTO. It is not like what is there in the fifth draft. So, and then of course we have an SDS requirement as part of the draft regulation, which is required the notification, and will be required in other areas. So that is something as a comparison. And then on conclusions, I think India Reach, as we are saying that legal text, we expect that notification WTO in 2021 to start this formal process of making these rules under Indian Gadget by 2022. Then we have Occupational Safety and Health Working Conditions Code 2020, and there are this is for entire India, but then chemical industry, especially hazardous chemicals and how it is handled. We have a lot of improvements areas. If you visit factories in India, then these are a need of the hour. I say that the workers are exposed to these hazardous chemicals and they are not aware of hazards and risks posed by these chemicals. So to ensure that it will also be I think supplementing the India Reach findings and information gathering. So this is the code which is there, and this will have certain requirements, but it is not yet implemented. Then also in this year we have action plan circulated for circular economy in the area of hazardous industrial waste, and India Reach of course will support the appropriate action plan for implementing the circular economy, that whether the chemical which is there will end up in the article, and when articles will go in the end of life cycle, whether these will pose any challenge for the waste dismantler. Or so there are some changes we can only implement in the beginning. Once it is there in the article, it's very hard to manage those waste. So this is something the action plan and certain discussions within the government involving, of course, the chemical and India Reach as part of this circular economy. So this is also currently in discussion in India. Then on India Reach, we have few clarifications awaited, and like data requirements, authorized representative criteria, and polymer exemption, or like registration. We have an EU changes coming in under sustainability, that registration requirements for certain polymers will be there. Then fees update, as industry considering SMEs that the fees are on higher side. So there are, let's see if there are some changes in the fees also. But important is that follow the developments of India Reach, and it will come, and then you have very less time to prepare and compile all the information. So start early. We would Reach Law, I think, will be more than happy to support you in your efforts, and we can of course provide any kind of guidance or support if you have planning to do business with India. So with this, I would like to end this session, but we will of course have a Q&A. I will we have some time for Q&A, so it's good that I can handle some questions. Give me some time so I can read through these questions, and before I end up, I will give you some that in the appendices we are providing all this information as I was explaining in the presentation. So feel free to use it. This recording and presentation will be available for these attendees. So give me 2 minutes, and we will come again for Q&A session. Thank you. Hello again. So we have received quite a few questions on this session. Of course, I will take up the interesting questions, and we will, as I mentioned, we will provide a Q&A document for all the participants. After this, when we send the recordings, you will also be receiving the Q&A document. So I will take up this question. Would substances and mixtures and articles be considered for filing? So as I mentioned, only the substances will be used for foiling. So if you are supplying mixtures in India, then only substances in these mixtures you need to consider for foiling, not mixture as such. And when it comes to articles, it depends. Articles not necessarily, or the substances and articles not necessarily will go for notification, because article application will not lead to any meeting this, like say, for environment and health concerns. So it is only when they have certain release category and these substances are listed in Schedule 2, they will only be registered. So notification is it may not require for substances and articles. Then the question is, will participants receive the Schedule 2 list of chemical substances together with the slides? So the Schedule 2, you can request us separately. I will provide the contact details, but you can request us separately. You have received the organizer's email, so you can also send us a request, and this list we will provide you separately. And the recording will be available for all the participants. And if you require the slides, then also you can send us your request separately by email. Then there is a question on the timeline. What is the implementation timeline, and is the government portal ready? So implementation timeline, we exact month or date is difficult to predict, as there are several bodies involved. But then what we understand that if notification at WTO is filed within 2021, then 180 days after filing, then 180 days India Reach regulation uh, can come in force. Once it is an Indian gadget, on that date it will come in force. And government portal is not ready and not functioning yet, so there is no information that is available to industry right now. Is the timeline confirmed to be effective 1st of January 2022? No. I mentioned this only for explaining you the initial notification period. So it is not correct that 1st of January 2022 the regulation will come in force. I use this date to explain you the how the initial notification period will work. Then the question is about, is a notifier able to use analytical data generated for EU Reach under India Reach? So I say the answer is yes, provided your analytical data meets the quality requirements of the test. And usually the requirements of EU Reach is also quite detailed when you identify the substances through inquiry, or if you have earlier registration, then your dossier of course covers all the identity information, which is of course required in India Reach. So you can of course use your India Reach analytical data if the quality and it's clear enough for authorities to determine that the substance is same that is notified. Then the question is about fees. Should we pay fees when the notifier update a notification with updated info? So you pay the fees when you make a first notification. So let's say it's 1 to 10 tons, you made your notification, and then you update next year. So next year, either March or end of March or something, you make a update. And during that previous year, if your export is above 10 tons, then you have to notify and pay again this update fee of 10 to 100 tons as a difference. If you don't exceed your tonnage band, you remain 1 to 10 tons, then no, there is no fee that you need to pay. It is only the submission. Of course, there will be fee that you will paying to consultant for the work, but then authority, there will be no fee charge if you don't change your tonnage band. So I'll take up the last question as we are already ending this scheduled time, and I respect the audience that they can attend other meetings, so I will not take your time. This is the last question of this session. Will there be a chemical inventory in India to check whether it is whether it's known, I guess it's a known or a new substance? There is no chemical inventory to public at the moment, but this notification is a depository for India to have a chemical inventory. And this is the main information, as I mentioned, will be used to further regulate chemicals. And the existing chemicals, if you're already in business with India, these are existing. And if you notify during this initial notification period, if you don't notify during this initial notification period, then it's a new substance. So this is how new substance is defined. In one of the slide, I have covered this definition. So with this, I would like to thank everyone for your participation, and I wish you good day and wish you safe health also. And in India, we are celebrating a festival of lights next week. So also from all of us here, I wish you very happy Diwali. Thank you, and this information will be shared by email to everyone.